Stream starting soon.
All right. Make sure. Good to go. What up, what up, what up, guys? Shane, you good to go?
Good morning, USA.
Let's see.
Hello, everybody.
What's going on? Let's see what's going on today. All kinds of there's always kinds of craziness going on. Let's see. Let's see. Give me just let's see. Make sure you're up on there we go. There we go. Okay, so Jesse Walters talking about Democrats. We're just going to jump right into it, see what's going on. Looks like all kinds of hell's breaking loose. So let's see what's going on.
To show fight, and you are not fighting. If you want airtime, be disruptive.
Democrats can't win if they don't know what they're fighting for.
To the people who say we want to fight, you don't have the votes. You can't pass gas.
Please don't vandalize, don't ever vandalize Tesla vehicles. And so
all of a sudden, domestic terrorism is a joke.
They basically want to kill me because I'm stopping their fraud.
From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died some 38 minutes ago.
The JFK Files, a prime time deep dive.
People have been waiting for decades for this.
Plus,
oh my God, when I'm talking, you're not talking. No, when I'm talking, you're not talking.
the Democrat base is out for blood and their town halls are getting ugly.
We want you to show some of the backbone and strategic brilliance that Mitch McConnell would have in the minority.
right.
We want you to show fight, and you are not fighting. We are on the front lines, and you are talking about 2026. Democrats should win in 2026, but those Democrats may need to be the people who beat incumbents in primaries for being too passive now. If you want airtime, be disruptive.
Question? I'm going to answer his question. I'm going to answer his question. You're not going to get me upset. They have the right to ask questions. They have the right to ask questions.
Whoa, the knives are out for Crying Chuck because they say he's not a fighter. Yesterday, Nancy called him a surrender monkey, and now House Democrats want his scalp.
I respect Chuck Schumer. I think he's had a great, long-standing career. He's done a lot of great things. But I'm afraid that it may be time for the Senate Democrats to pick new leadership as we move forward.
Schumer's less popular than the Ebola virus. That's what one.
So this is what you're talking about earlier, how the Democrats are kind of starting to eat each other.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And if you look at it, I mean, the American people would never stand for this from this behavior from Republicans. You know, they don't expect it. They wouldn't stand for it. And Republicans don't do it. They are starting to eat each other from within. I mean, when's the last time before this Trump election victory that you see the Democrats argue with each other? When?
Yeah. Well, and that's what the confusion is when someone does something well, like say, hey, I'm going to cut taxes, just to be difficult and say, no, we don't agree with anything you say just because we hate you. You know, that toxic level is what's destroying the Democratic Party.
They forget that they're there for my interest, for your interest, for the American people's interest. They are strictly far left party politics.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And they were also doing is throwing mud until or just hoping something's gonna stick, you know.
Yeah.
It's getting frustrating.
Well, I mean, and like you said, they're just what they'll do is they'll eat each other, and then there'll be nobody left. Then what? You know, and like you said, at the end of the day, being able to go out and protest and stuff like that, peaceful protest is literally the American way. You go to China, you go to some other country, you'll just kind of disappear. They'll throw you in jail because they're not going to have it. So this is where now doing the Tesla thing and stuff like that, doing all that. I mean, that's not good because now you're what happens when somebody gets hurt? You know, at some point they're going to catch these guys throwing cocktails on trucks and stuff like that. I mean, because you always have, you know, local crime organizations or, you know, not even organizations, just, you know, people doing dumb stuff. They're going to get caught. You know, that one person or two persons that get caught are going to, they're going to literally, you know, excuse the pun, they're going to burn for it.
I mean,
You know?
then they say they're party for the people. I mean, they're out there throwing Molotov cocktails, vandalizing, everything like that. Elon Musk, I think that, I mean, the guy's unelected, nothing more than passes advice, doesn't pass policy, and people are coming unglued over him. I mean, it's like a schoolyard fight, the Democrats.
Yeah.
Never mind that Tesla, SpaceX yesterday rescuing astronauts that have been stuck for a year. They were supposed to be gone. Was it 4 or 6 days? I can't remember which, but ended up there a year, and he brought them home. The guy's done nothing but good work.
Well, like you said, when the Democratic Party was in charge, the Republicans had to take it. The Republicans had to change, you know, they had to change bathrooms and they had to teach, you know, all this stuff in schools, and they had to, you know, they go out to other countries and start, you know, saying, hey, we're going to pay for, you know, sex changes and stuff like that. And there's nothing the Republican Party could do. So now it's on the other, it's literally on the other hand, other foot, whatever you want to say. And, you know, now it's happening. They're canceling all their programs like they probably canceled the Republican programs. And it's just natural what they're doing. But they're so, I mean, it's so publicized now. You know what's going. Everybody knows what's going on to the T of the program. There's no more hidden money. You know, they're going around. The billionaires are going around cutting, you know, Democratic Party programs. Most likely, if I were to guess. I mean, I don't know if you could actually say, is this a Democratic program or a Republican program? Is there, a, you know, kind of a measure for which programs they're deleting? But I guarantee you, the last administration did it to the Republican Party too.
Just I wanted to tell you real quick. You know, you can't tell people this is what the Democrats do and say the economy is the best ever. You can't tell American people that are paying prices, the inflation at the gas station, at the pump. You know, you can't.
Hey, speaking of, I got to add this. There was a gas station, and I know I was just talking about it, but it's $2.75 for diesel. $2.75. You know, I did the show the other day talking about that. You sit there at the gas stations and you'll see them pull into the 350, and then there's a 275 across the street, and they're still pulling into the 350 because they're not paying attention. So, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on. Hopefully, people are just keeping an eye out. Hey, you know, I hear people posting, you know, Trump's not doing anything, Elon's not doing anything, but eggs are down half. Gas is coming down rapidly. Supposedly there's a stimulus check. Everybody knows that, right? It's not nothing new. But when's it coming? When are they gonna write the check? You know, that's gonna be the next big thing. So
I wanted to add to the border. We're cleaning that up now, and we're getting mocked by the libs for that. Sex changes, we stopped supporting that. We're no longer paying for that. We're no longer giving free money, free health care to these illegals. And we're no longer, there's two genders now, two genders only recognized.
well, and like I said, it's the same thing. Like when Republicans are in this, they'll clean up, they'll run it the way they want to.
I just couldn't believe the whole sex change thing, or the girls and the guys and men's, the guys and girls sports, and in their locker rooms. It just me away. But hey, I don't want to plagiarize here. But
Well, just why not do like that? Like, if okay, let's say to be inclusive, not adding some different setup to a girl's restroom, but just to have like their own restroom. I don't understand why, have your own sports, have your own competitions, have your own,
Well, because they want to call males, or males want to call themselves females, and that you can't have it both. But I want to tell you real quick before I forget, Titus, that I saw it on, not to plagiarize, so I'm going to tell you, I saw this, but I do not remember who it was from, but I saw it on a stand-up comedy. Instead of optional sex changes, when illegals come into this country, it should be made mandatory. How bad do you want citizenship?
I think you mentioned that at some point, sometime. Dude, throw that on them. Say, hey, go ahead and you can get this free service, right? You get the free service.
It's mandatory though. You gotta,
yeah, you come in, you have to have a sex change. You have to vote Democrat.
How bad do you want it?
How bad do you want it? That's funny, dude. Yeah, well, you never know. They may still sign up.
Titus, nobody's gonna go for that mandatory. People are turning around. They're watching. They're heading for the border right now, watching that.
Yeah. Well, I guess there's been progress, but we can get back to see what old Jesse says here.
I love Jesse Waters.
I am, dude.
Senior House Democrat told Axios. Behind the scenes, Democrats in the House are holding anti-Schumer vent sessions, and everyone in the party, and not just the lefties, are hissed off. Pocahontas is challenging his leadership. Liz says Schumer was wrong and should have shut down the government. Chuck's been on a media tour to save his job, and after CBS told him no one trusted him, MSNBC strapped him to a chair and humiliated him.
I want to play some of the criticism, again, not from like backseat drivers or not from me on cable news, but people like Hakeem Jeffries or Nancy Pelosi. Take a listen.
Look, Chuck and I disagreed as it relates to the approach and outcome.
I think there is a deep sense of outrage and betrayal. And this is not just about progressive Democrats. This is across the board, the entire party.
I would have liked to see, when Chuck Schumer had leverage here, to say we need A, B, C, and D for the Democratic Party and force the Republicans to meet him halfway on those issues.
I myself don't give away anything for nothing. And I think that's what happened the other day.
They said, okay, he said leverage, I think it was the governor.
And Nancy Pelosi said, I myself don't give away anything for nothing. I think that's what happened
the only leverage we had. They weren't going to negotiate with us. So there were two choices only. It would be nice if we had a third choice.
Nancy's pinned the whole party against Chuck. He's getting pounded behind the scenes, and Congress is leaking he needs to retire or step down. And the Raging Cajun says Schumer's on the clock.
I'm mad at the Democratic Party. I mean, you see, when you lose an election, a party exists for one reason and one reason only, and that is to win.
Here's what a whole home water filtration system costs, including installation. Tap below to check price.
The election. We lost. And I do think that Senator Schumer is right. I think he and Leader Jeffers do have a plan in place. And look, if this is not evident here in the next 3 or 4 months, then there will be a uprising within the Democratic Party.
Oh, Schumer's strategy doesn't pay off by July 4th. Carville says he's getting cooed. The last Democrat uprising didn't go so well for the big guy. So we know what they're capable of. So what we have here is a good old Mexican standoff. Chuck says he's not going anywhere, and Democrats say, we'll see about that. And the women hate it when everyone's fighting.
Why don't the Democrats go out there and march and stop fighting with each other? I'm sick of it.
Well, I don't know, Joy, that they're fighting with each other. They're not fighting a unified fight. That is the problem.
The fact that Nancy is now out there criticizing Schumer, stop it already.
You know why she's criticizing him? Because he should have been fighting for that veteran. He should have been fighting for the people of America that are feeling the way that they are feeling.
But that's what I'm saying. Go out and fight for them.
But it's not about, well, he had the opportunity to fight for them. Chuck Schumer caved to the GOP and got nothing.
So what are your thoughts on that? Like the whole Democratic Party was like hate more inclusiveness, and now it's like they're eating each other.
That's what we were talking about this morning. That was one of the first things we were saying. They're eating each other from within. And too, I just want to mention real quick, I'm not texting somebody or reading email over here. I'm only looking at my phone so that I'm getting news flashes of right now situations, and I get I write myself notes to make sure to bring up to you all. But that was one of them this morning. Earlier was, I mean, it's just funny to see Schumer, AOC, Pocahontas, Whoopi, Joy Behar, and the only one I really want to see, which I just cannot stand, either puts me in a bad mood, ruins my week, is Al Sharpton. I haven't seen him or heard from him in a while.
Which one do they call tampon?
Tampon?
Yeah, they're calling one of they're calling one of the guys tampon. I don't. It's one of the Dems. I have to look it up, but it's.
But yeah, I would like to know that too.
Yeah, they keep calling him tampon, and they keep. It's brutal, man.
But this is like, I mean, these guys, you know, and it makes me, reminds me of that saying, like, people are so busy being red or blue that they stopped being decent Americans a long time ago. And that's really the way that this election has turned. I mean,
Cindy says morning, or she says hi. She's on Facebook.
Oh, hello.
What's up? What's happening? A lot of stuff going on. But okay, we can keep watching it. I was gonna get your take, because that's what you're seeing. Like, everybody's fighting, and they're pissed. They're pissed they lost. Now all these things in record time are getting cut. The programs are getting cut. Anything with that's not in the Republican mindset is gone. It's getting cut.
The Democrats are taking their baseball and their bat and they're going home because they lost and they're angry, and that's
well, like, they're going in their parking lot and they're fighting each other because they lost the game. This is what they're doing.
They're not even they're beyond fighting. Well, I mean, they still are fighting Republicans, but nothing will eat them quicker than
hey,
fish within.
So Cindy says it's the governor of Minnesota. Tim is tampon.
Oh.
That's who. Yeah, and he's been coming out with all kinds of like truck commercials, or not commercials, but like working on his truck, like he's average American, that kind of thing.
That guy is the devil's cousin. I promise you.
Sorry, when they said it, it's like I wasn't even I didn't even care. I was just kind of watching. They like tampon. I'm like, oh, that's brutal. That's brutal.
But
like Sleepy Joe, like all these names that they have for
Biden.
Sleepy Joe,
I think,
tampon.
I think Pocahontas tasted.
Pocahontas, yeah, it's crazy. It's getting out of.
Trying to declare that she's. I mean, got caught red-handed in bull-faced lie, and earned the nickname Pocahontas courtesy of the president.
Well, it's hilarious, man. Like, it's not like it's getting out of hand, but they're out of control, man.
Hey, I think one of the biggest clowns out there was that Waltz, the VP nomination with Harris, the Harris nomination. Oh, I'm just a knucklehead. I wasn't there for that.
Yeah. Hey, Cindy says they lost the years. Really, it's all going to be revealed someday soon. Putting it in men's restrooms for trans and stuff like that. But I was gonna just also say too. Do they run polls on these nicknames? They're like, hey, which one does the Democrat or Republican, is tampon a good name, or is it? Yeah, I don't know. They may have like focus groups on like the worst possible nickname they can come up with for these people,
is
man.
Nickname King, though. I mean, even when they were fighting amongst themselves, fighting for positions, cabinets, the nominees, and stuff like that. First of all, like Little Marco, and then but George, or not George, I'm so sorry. Bush's Jeb was, I mean, and he looked I thought during the debates that he looked pretty ridiculous too. But Trump is the best nicknamer there is. He came up with the Lion Biden, Pocahontas, Sleepy Joe.
Yeah,
there's a couple more.
They're hilarious, man. The nicknames,
so funny.
man, and it's brutal.
He's got them labeled the far left. He's got them labeled like the little rascals.
Yeah,
Spanky and I forget all the names.
Jerky. You know, hey,
Yeah,
there's a little
exactly.
jerky there.
You get the point.
Okay, we can let's see what they say here.
This was actually
Joy is sticking up for Chuck, and Sonny wants him doged. These ladies are clawing each other's eyes out during Women's History Month. It's just so sad, but it's about to get worse. Bernie Sanders just showed up with some matches and gasoline.
Everyone's beating up on Chuck, and I strongly.
So I just got to add, this guy looks like a sitcom character, man. Like I every time I see it, Saturday Night Live, he's got like the messy hair. I mean, and he's always just kind of, he's grumpy.
That voice.
And he's kind of looking around like he's cognitive, but like he just gets out of control. He gets out of control.
Yeah, it is hilarious.
I mean, it's like something like on, Bart Simpson or something, The Simpsons.
It really, I made a list here. I was going to share with y'all, but Bernie, Schumer, AOC, Pocahontas, Joe Behar, Al Sharpton. Those are Gavin Newsom. Whenever I hear those names, it begins to make my skin crawl.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say about that.
Cindy says she thinks that Trump personally names them. But I thought, I bet you that, hey, put some money into some focus groups and think, hey, what's the best thing we can completely just.
No, it is. It's the president that's given the best nicknames,
Yeah.
The fake news.
Like second runner up for Joe Biden would be like Grabby or Smelly. He's always smelly.
I've never, and I'm sure nobody else has either, anybody that's called out the media in a group as the fake news. And that's not even like a clever nickname. That's just straight chilling to the bone truth,
Yeah. Cindy said Al Sharpton should be bobblehead.
Him and Chuck Schumer is not far behind. Guys, I don't think Chuck Schumer's far behind. Whoopi's pulling in a close third, and
Have they given Whoopi a nickname?
Not
But
yet,
you know
but
what?
I'm sure it's coming.
Yeah.
The more that
She just seems to be I got some stuff on her later, but it's just funny how she keeps popping up. She keeps popping up, man.
Yeah, she refused. I mean, she is officially fired. Is that right?
I thought she was, but then you see old clips of her on the show, so it's just confusing. Like you're not, it's, I don't know if they just keep showing it to show it, or if it's legit, or I don't know. It's hard to tell.
I got a news flash one day, and plain as day it said that Whoopi had been fired.
Yeah, and that's what I don't know if that was just clickbait, and then you click on the View, and then there she is still. So it's like not they have because what about the whole thing that Elon bought the View? Is that real or not real? Fact or unfact? I don't know.
Fake news.
Yeah, yeah. Sydney's like a bad habit. She never goes away. Yeah, yeah.
She's like more worse than a bad habit, like a venereal disease.
I mean, I know, but she was a great actor in the day, man. Like she, I don't know.
Ghost, burglar.
What's the one where she's a nun?
Oh yeah.
Remember you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
It's not that she's not a good actor. She just
Sister Act, was that the
Sister Act? Yeah, it was Sister Act. I mean, I remember those movies. It was back in the day, man. 80s.
I never disliked her. I thought she did great in Ghost and stuff like that. I didn't dislike her until, when she's been on The View, it's like a bad rash.
Well, she's a twisted sister now.
Twisted Sister.
Is that a show or is that a?
No,
That's from Sydney. That's from Sydney. But no, but I mean, keep in mind, she's still a paid actor. So is it the controversy that sells the view? Whatever you know what I mean? Let's say you pick the other side and she does such a good job, people to end up hating her, you know? And she's just getting paid to be the actor. She's doing a script. It's not her show, right?
It's always been the I mean, it's always been so controversial, and you know, it's like you can't call a red painting blue, and that's what the liberals have done with the border, the economy, foreign policy. I mean, they really handed over a mess, you know. And up to 3.5 years they were in office, they were still blaming the Trump administration.
Yeah,
you know, that was the go-to, I guess. But
it's like people watch just to get pissed off,
and the only people that watch that they're feeling hate, they're feeling anti-patriotism, everything.
Yeah,
it's just, I think the whole show.
Well, just like it is. It's just like it is. As long as it's still a show. If you watch it and it's entertaining, it doesn't matter what it is, as long as people watch and it's, you know, people can't change the channel, I guess, because it wouldn't be still on today if someone's not supporting it or, you know, I mean, think about it. Yeah. But anyway, we can continue on here and see what old Bernie's got to say. Well, Bernie whips out the gas and matches.
I'm going to drink a water.
Yeah. So let's see what he says.
You disagree with him strongly. No one is in the caucus more critical of Schumer than I am. But it's not Schumer. It's the caucus. It's not the caucus. It's the Democratic Party. In the Democratic Party, you got a party that is heavily dominated by the billionaire class, run by consultants who are way out of touch with reality. The Democratic Party has virtually no grassroots support.
Bernie's saying no one hates Chuck more than I hate him. As a matter of fact, I'm the only one here that's clean. You're all corrupt. Notice how Bernie speaks truth to power when the Democrats are out of power. But when Joe was running the show, Bernie was a good little boy and said Biden was Einstein and he campaigned for Kamala. The funny thing is, Bernie doesn't have one friend in the Senate. They all think he's nuts, and his crazy ideas are what loses him elections. The question is, who's getting fired?
In sports, you get a draft pick. If the GM, whoever picked the draft pick, if they pick someone that doesn't work out, it's a bust, that person needs to get fired. So who picked Kamala Harris? If it's Obama, if it's Pelosi, if it's Schumer, that person needs to get fired. Then two, Kamala Harris needs to be fired. Why? Because she chose Waltz as a VP.
Well, the only person who can fire Barack is Michelle, and that story is still developing. Kamala's in the nosebleeds at the Lakers games. She's been fired, and she doesn't even know it. But Schumer and Nancy, that's what you call coup karma. What goes around comes around. It's only a matter of time. Gavin Newsom's hands are clean. That leaves tampon.
There he is. That's who we were talking about. Tampon.
Oh, that makes perfect sense now.
That's so brutal, dude. Tampon.
I've never heard a worse nickname for a male.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great, but I mean,
yeah. You know who popped up for this guy's job because he's the Florida governor, right?
DeSantis?
Yeah. Is the governor or the?
Yeah, no, he's governor.
Yeah. Grant Cardone. I talked about him yesterday because he was out in politics, but I found something else that was kind of negative on Grant Cardone and how he does his business practices. I don't know if they're true, but we'll kind of look at that later. But this guy, I mean, I think they want him out pretty fast, rapid fast, because he's not doing too hot. So
let me just add this.
You're a Florida guy, so you know, right?
I am. And Titus, let me add this real quick. I think in 4 years, you're going to see and I'm saying this is what I think, and I'll deny it in 4 years if it doesn't come through. No, I'm just kidding. But I think that you're going to see DeSantis on your next GOP ticket. I think you're going to see a DeSantis, and
Sidney says, yeah, he's the Florida governor.
Florida governor,
Yeah.
yeah. But you're going to see a J.D. Vance DeSantis ticket in 4 years.
Yeah. Do you think they'll replace him?
Replace who?
This guy for Florida? Who do you think is going to replace him? Do you think he'll stay in, or do you think it'll be somebody else?
Well, if DeSantis is picked for, I'm saying he's going to be a VP ticket. With J.D. Vance. That's just my
I got you.
gut feeling, and you know.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Every time, I just gotta say real quick, every time I see Chuck Schumer, and just to listen to that voice, first of all, makes my skin crawl. Nancy Pelosi's ugliness, and her, not physically not attractive, but I mean, or just the way that she's always so ugly.
You mean her attitude's nasty?
Her attitude,
Nasty attitude.
You know, it just makes my skin crawl.
He said, Cindy says he terms out as soon as the Florida governor runs ends. I don't know when that is, but they had put in word for Grant Cardone to possibly run for the Florida governor seat. But he was on Fox News not too long ago. But I found something else. If I can find it, I'll play it. But they're talking about, somebody had an experience with him where kind of just, more shadier practices and taking advantage when he's selling one thing and doing another. So we'll look at that just for, fun's sake.
Good question, Titus, is and I don't know anything about him. What's his party affiliation?
I think it's a Republican, but he's a real estate guy. He's not anywhere near Trump real estate level, but he's a guy that does like the group funding and he does the 10X, and I'm sure you've heard of that term 10X.
Yeah.
That's his whole that's his baby.
I would have guessed that he was independent just because I haven't heard of him until this morning.
Yeah. Cindy says there's another guy that Trump endorsed, but she can't think who it is. So we'll see what old Tampon's got to say.
Notion of toxicity and masculinity needs to be separated. And I think it's been conflated. And I think we're going to have to work on that a little bit. And I think there is a crisis.
I think some of us scare them. I think I scare them a little bit why they spend so much time on it. No, I'm serious, because I can fix a truck. They know I'm not bull.
No one's scared of Tampon. We hope he runs. And why does he keep bragging about his manhood? Sounds a little insecure.
All right, here we go. 345 International Motor, no computers, all analog. And this is the cruise control. This thing works on vacuum, pulls, and this is ingenious.
Imagine making $453,000 in a single month as an affiliate marketer without.
This arm is just a chain that slides back and forth inside this arm. And when it's working, works within a couple miles per hour.
I can't fix a truck, but Tyrus can, and he says Tampon looks lost. If you have to keep telling me how much of a man you are, maybe you aren't. Tampon played Madden with AOC, sounded like he'd never coached a game in his life. I've never even seen him throw a football. Have you? We searched the internet all day, couldn't find it. We saw him pheasant hunting, couldn't even load his gun. And the whole afternoon, never even pulled the trigger. And guys usually don't wave with both hands at the same time. Men are calm. That's not Tampon. Democrats are out of ideas, so they're just putting on an act. But Hillary says everything Democrats say is a fact.
Information determines how we think, and how we think determines what we say, and what we say determines what we do. Where there are no facts that are agreed upon, that happen right before your eyes, and you have leaders telling you to ignore it, that Putin did not invade Ukraine, that Ukraine somehow brought it upon itself, where there are no facts there cannot be truth, and where there is no truth, there cannot be trust, and where there is no trust, there cannot be democracy and peace.
Hillary invented the Russia hoax and then lost to Trump. So all Democrats can learn from her is what not to do. She's selling Ukraine war documentaries right now. How out of touch can you get? Funding a war you can't win is kind of how Democrat donors feel. What are Democrats even fighting for? Well, in a shocking development, Binder nails it.
Welcome in.
The Democratic Party needs to figure out who they are and what they are fighting for. And that is so key. I think people in the Democratic Party wants to see a fight. They want to see heart. They want to see that you care. And if we don't do that, if the party doesn't do that, we're not going to make those gains that we want to see happen in the future.
Binder's been watching Primetime. Hey, Binder, love you. Carville's advocating for a strategic retreat.
When George Washington, when the British landed at Long Island, you know what George Washington did? He retreated to Trenton. So to the people who say, we want to fight, great. Fight how? You don't have the votes. You can't pass gas. That's the consequence of losing an election. All right, get over it, dude.
Have you ever asked 5 people for advice and get 5 different answers? Play possum, run away, collaborate, coup, firebomb. What we haven't heard so far is listen.
We've become a party of people who preach down to others, who scold them, who say, if you don't agree with me, you're not only wrong, but you're a bad person. I mean, I think all of us have heard that attitude from many national Democrats in the past couple years. So I think we need to stop preaching and start listening, start meeting Americans.
So Cindy on Facebook, she says Donald Trump had endorsed Byron Donalds.
Who is it?
Byron Donalds.
For what?
The Republican future Republican governor. I've never heard of him.
I've never heard of governor of what state?
Florida.
Now, why would that happen when there's not even?
Well, he's already telling people who to vote for or who he likes when it does come, I guess. Kind of prepping them, putting that out there. You know what I mean?
That Trump endorsed him?
Yeah.
I can't imagine that. Because I think DeSantis is the best governor in the country right now.
DeSantis? Isn't he a Democrat?
DeSantis? No. Ron DeSantis from Florida. The Republican governor.
He is Republican?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's one of the most promising. That's why I was saying him and J.D. Vance. You could see them on a ticket next 3.5 years.
Yeah. So you'll think he'll maintain?
Oh, absolutely. The guy is, I think he's done an incredible job with Florida. And I think he'd do an incredible job way higher than that.
Yeah.
The guy has been fantastic for years now. Not here and there. I mean, he's improved Florida so much.
So yeah, Cindy says the same thing. I didn't know that. Cindy said on Facebook that he's the best governor for Florida. Yeah, he's the star. Yeah, I just kind of remember during a time when people were coming and they were like cleaning up, but they weren't cleaning up all the time. But they were able to move homeless people in an instant when people were visiting. I don't know if it was the same guy or not, but
I think that you're thinking of Titus, the governor that was, and I can't think of his name right now, but before, I can picture his face if you not think of his name, but he was kind of, he was Republican, then switched to Democrat, and then changed back to Republican. I mean, he was a clown.
Yeah.
I think that's who you're thinking of.
Cindy on Facebook says he can't run another term because he terms out.
Okay, so then
he terms out.
Okay, that's why.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. That makes sense. That's why President Trump had endorsed him, then that's why.
Yeah.
So, and when is his term up? This
is coming from Cindy on Facebook. I don't know per se when.
So when is his term up?
Yeah, I don't know. There's a probably 10-second delay, so it'll be safe.
I'm guessing that it's pretty quick. Then if I just wish it would be 2028.
Yeah.
Or 29.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. But if he's doing a great job, then he's doing a great job. You know.
Fantastic job.
Yeah.
Florida loves him.
Yeah.
I mean, did you see how many counties went red in Florida?
Yeah. Yeah. It was clear. It was pretty decisive. Sitting from Facebook, I'm not sure when it's coming. His wife is going to run, but no one knows for sure. So.
DeSantis' wife?
Yeah. So that makes sense because he can pretty much run through her.
Right.
I'm sure.
Well, that's
that's how it works, right?
That's what the Obamas were to the Bidens, you know.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know if I would. I'm saying this jokingly to but I don't know if I'd like it if my wife was the governor. I mean, ultimately, what she says goes. At least for me and the upstate.
You don't want to be in the doghouse.
Yeah, if you're in the doghouse, you literally are sleeping outside.
Yeah.
That's irrelevant, but I haven't seen her, or I'm not familiar with her, but
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let's see what they say. You ready?
Where they are. Don't take these minority positions on cultural issues and say, hey, if you don't meet this strict liberal litmus test, then you're not even a Democrat.
While Democrats grapple with each other over tactics, Trump's barreling ahead with action because he listened to the voters, had a vision, and executed. Trump's popular because he fights. He doesn't just fight Democrats, he fights for America. Democrats are fighting against Trump, against America, against each other, and not for you. If they just put their ears to the street, wages, education, healthcare, bread and butter, kitchen table issues that have driven Democrat turnout for decades, you hear nothing about it. All you hear is oligarchy. I bet some of these Democrats can't even spell oligarchy. While they're so busy trying to win elections with lawyers, they forgot how to win elections with voters. And now they look like sleazy defense attorneys, defending foreign gangbangers, foreign students, inciting anti-Semitic riots, foreign sex changes, and foreign countries slapping tariffs on products made in America. The Democrats are in trouble. And who do you call to get yourself out of trouble? Usually you call a man. So who are Democrats?
So I'll say, you could imagine how pissed off another country could be, right? I mean, I'm sure other countries aren't like all about it, right? I mean, if you take a poll and say, hey, you know, France is all about it. Maybe they are. I don't know. But it's just, could you imagine, say, France doing something, just pick a subject and bring that here and they fund that? You know, I mean, I could see that being an annoying, you know, that's if the funding ever got to, you know, what it was supposed to do, not just lay somebody's pockets, you know, somewhere else. But
that seems to be an epidemic in Washington. Doge is finding that, you know.
Yeah, that's what they're working on. Here, we can get back to it.
Pratt's gonna call. Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk is here. All right, how much longer does Chuck Schumer have, Charlie?
Oh, boy, that's a good question. I hope a lot longer because he keeps on losing to Trump.
Yeah.
He's been great for us. Everything that President Trump's been asking for, this guy doesn't know how to fight. He doesn't know how to stand up against it. And the Democrats, look, it's so performative. They're shrieking. It's kind of part of their whole shtick. They're not used to having these kind of inter-party fights. For the last couple of years, you know what's always kept them together? Opposition to Donald Trump. That is no longer sufficient. It's no longer enough just to say that we are against Trump. President Trump is in the masterclass best form we've ever seen him. He's playing offense. He's operating with precision. His team is doing a phenomenal job. And Chuck Schumer, doesn't even know how to deal with his own Democrat base. That was a phenomenal open, Jesse. And the one thing that Democrats don't mention, and Seth Moulton almost talked about it, almost is maybe there's something wrong with the stated core values of the Democrat Party. Maybe there's something wrong with the fact that Joe Biden did not work with Elon Musk to go rescue the astronauts that were stranded in space. Maybe there's something wrong with the fact that you guys did not go and vote in favor of no men and female sports. You say, hey, when there's a problem, you call a man. The Democrats can't even tell you what a man is.
So when you hear Walz brag about how much of a man he is, what does that tell you?
I think there might be a little bit of a cope there, you could say. There's a little bit, he has to remind us how masculine he is, trying to not even be able to load a shotgun or fix a truck. I'll tell you one thing, the most masculine thing that someone can do in America today is stand up for women that are not able to stand up for themselves.
Right.
So while Tim Walz is going on Gavin Newsom's podcast, attacking me, by the way, saying that I'm a bad guy, well, I'm sorry, Governor Walz. One thing that we don't have in common is, unlike you in Minnesota, I, every single day, am actually fighting for female privacy in locker rooms and that women's sports will not have men in them. Real men stand up for women when they're not able to stand up for themselves.
I've seen Charlie throw a football. You have an arm. And Coach Walz, he talks about how much he loves football. I've never seen him throw a football. Isn't that strange? If you were a big football coach and you're out on the campaign trail, maybe just throw it once. John Edwards, John Kerry used to throw it on the tarmac. He never threw the ball once.
I think it would be very similar to Barack Obama throwing a baseball. I don't think it would be a sight that would be easy on the eyes. That's right. I could throw quite a tight spiral. Hey, Governor Walz, let's go have a game of catch. We'll see how you do.
You know,
Coach.
Charlie's doing podcasts with Newsom. Why don't you go throw the pigskin with Walz? What do you say?
I think it's a great idea. I'll fly in up to Minneapolis. We'll see what it's all about, Governor Walz. You're Mr. Coach. You're the one that can motivate the troops. Do you even know how to throw a football? Let's let the internet decide.
All right, let's let it decide. Charlie, good to see you.
Thanks.
Democrats are firebombing Teslas, and Tampon loves it. A good week for America. Gas prices are plummeting, eggs are cheaper, and gangbangers are being flown to mega prisons in El Salvador. But the biggest win splashed down in the Gulf of America last night. Trump and Elon brought home astronauts Biden left stranded in the Milky Way.
The astronauts were only supposed to be there for 8 days, and they've been there for almost 10 months. So obviously,
so could you imagine the overtime pay? They're not getting taxed on their overtime pay right now. 8 days is like, the work week and they'll be off, 8 days on, 6 days off, whatever it is. They just got paid. They don't care. I'll be in space. They're not going to leave me here,
I mean, what's so evil about that? What's they hate him on? And I just want to say to anybody watching, I'm not on my phone over here. I'm not over here texting somebody here. I'm taking notes. I wanted to tell a quick minute on I was just gonna say the Raging Cajun.
Raging Cajun,
is
yeah.
one of my favorite Democrats. I just when he comes on, and now he's saying how ridiculous. I mean, the guy tells the truth.
Yeah.
About policy, and he tells it. I mean, he does.
Why didn't he go into politics, man? Get someone with at least they're gonna not bullshit you and say, hey, yeah, that's probably not a good idea.
And also, Titus, the Democrats have nothing to offer. Have you noticed that I've recognized that I've heard at least 3 times today on these YouTubes that it's been mentioned. The first thing we mentioned this morning, the Democrats are turning on each other. I mean, it's you're the last one on that ark, man, on Noah's Ark, and it's beginning to rain.
Yeah.
Close that door.
Great analogy.
And I'll tell you, last thing I wanted to say was bring up Charlie Kirk and Ben Shapiro are like unsung heroes.
Yeah.
I will never pass up watching them on a college campus, especially when Woke gets up and taunts them and everything like that. And Ben Shapiro, that man's mind thinks faster than anybody can speak.
Well, you got to think too. These are just kids, right? So from 18 to 21, he's getting, he knows he probably goes to the most democratic college he can find, and just people just get crazy, and it makes for a good TV show. It makes for a good, these guys are just yelling and screaming. They have no idea. I mean, they're not. I wouldn't say they're like big debaters. And he's now, how many colleges has he been to? Just
he's been all over from. The East Coast to West Coast, but the guy, these, you see, they're just kids, Titus, 18, 19 years old. They're the next generation. They're the future. They're already voters.
Well, and that's, it's kind of like, and I'm not saying it's, bad, because I love the TV. I love them too, but I think it's funny how it's like a weightlifting champion going around trying to teach someone how to lift weights. It's just that there's no way. There's no way. Yeah, there's no way that
or anything like that. But they are. Right now, 18, they're your next 20, 30, 40 year. That generation. Yeah. Next 20, 20s and 30s. So.
Most of them don't have jobs.
They don't have a job.
They're still from high school mentality, thinking that hey, they're going to get paid. They're going to, thinking $100,000 jobs waiting for them when they get out of college.
Right, and they're being told that by. I've never seen any everyday Americans as far liberal, far left as the average college professor.
Yeah, no, and I love it. I love it. I think it's funny. The guy has got a great niche, arguing, and and the thing is, he'll pick. He never makes fun of. He'll let people have a conversation, but I think it's funny how he gets some crazy people. He gets some crazy people in there, man.
He's got a rebuttal though. He lets them finish. He doesn't butt in and cut off or anything like that. But it seems like he'll sum up their. They'll talk for 30, 40 seconds, and he'll sum it up in about 7 or 8 seconds. That's absolutely not true. This is where the source facts. I don't believe that, and you are not. A man is a man, a woman is a woman. And just that long, and he completely shut down in a 1.5, 2 minute argument. Yeah, and with common sense,
Well, we watched this the other day, and they never showed these guys get out of the cockpit. So I did have a clip of them actually coming out of their space shuttle, but it's just kind of weird how they cut it from the moment they were actually stepping out of the spaceship or whatever, the rescue pod or whatever you want to call it. So
that may have been done on purpose, who knows? But I think the man is, and Elon Musk should be in that category of Shapiro and Charlie Kirk and stuff like that. Just great Americans.
Yeah.
It's so Democrats hate you for loving this country. Mm-hmm. And I'll shut up.
No, it's good. We'll see we'll finish this up and see what they're doing here.
That doesn't make any sense. SpaceX could have brought the astronauts back after a few months at most, and we made that offer to the Biden administration. It was rejected for political reasons, and that's just a fact.
A billionaire rocket scientist is saving Americans, but Democrats want to blow him up.
On my phone, I don't know, some of you know this on the iPhone, they've got that little stock app. I added Tesla to it to give me a little boost during the day. 225 and dropping. So if you own one, we're not blaming you. You can take dental floss and pull the Tesla thing off, and take out, just telling you.
Tesla's an American car company, and Tampon wants it to tank. This guy's the governor of Minnesota.
I was just going to ask, I guarantee it, he owns Tesla stock. I guarantee it. Everybody's waiting for it to hit the rock bottom. Rock bottom. Because as soon as it hits rock bottom, it's almost guaranteed. There's nothing on a stock valuation that's changed with his company. It's still the value. He's still selling cars. people are fearful of what's happening right now. So they're selling their stock, but the valuation of his company has not changed. So if someone drops 10, 20 grand in that stock right now, in less than a year, it'll probably be $500-600. It'll at least double. So it'll get back up to 400. That's kind of what happened with the old Chili's thing during COVID. It went down to $8 when it averaged for 10 years at $45. So it's gonna the pendulum, after all the crazy and everybody, it'll go right back to the original valuation because that's what it's worth. So you know what I'm saying? So it's just the easy money. It's just and these guys, remember, have millions of dollars in stock.
I can't think of one good positive story that came out of COVID,
Yeah.
and stuff. So,
Well, that's what happened. That's literally, these guys made so much money during that time frame because when everything like just destroys in the stock market, these guys are licking their chops and go, "Come on, baby, get down," because they know. And don't get me wrong, they're not the experts, but they have the money. How do you think the politicians are making so much?
Isn't that the definition? Isn't that the very definition, Titus, of insider trading?
Well, but the thing, it's not insider trader when they're not. Okay, for instance, and I've mentioned this on other shows. If I go out as a Democrat and say, "We're going to take your rifles away," every American runs to the store and they will buy a gun, a rifle, or whatever. And that stock goes skyrocket. They send millions and millions of guns. They sell millions of units. Well, that's all. They literally threaten every other year. They do this. It's almost like kind of like a pattern. We're going to take your guns away. You can't take your guns away. And then guess what? The reaction is how people react in the stock market. You see what I'm saying? That's how they're making money, bud. Like, and okay, I add this because I don't know, but TikTok, okay? If there was truly some twisted thing about China and TikTok, but the fact that Trump said, "Hey, I'm going to take TikTok away," but then he says, "You know what? I'm a good guy. Vote for me. I'm giving your TikTok back for favor." Does he even have the legal right to say, "Hey, we're just not going to allow you to, you're going to have to sell it to an American company"? Does he have the right to do that? I don't know. Because now you're taking freedom of choice just because we're using a product outside of the United States. It's kind of like Canada saying, "Hey, we're not going to sell your liquor." You're taking a freedom of choice over something else that's really not, and that's just the question I have. Does he have the actual legal right to do that, and why? If there's something like, well, hey, yeah, you're stealing information or you're doing something, okay, then why would it still be up right now if that's the case? You see what I'm saying? Like if there's actually hey, they're stealing your information, they're doing this, it's bad for the public, or they can make a real fact, then why is it still in existence right now for the American people? Because when it was said, hey, when it came back, there was a whole lot of favor, and I'm just comparing the ups and downs of the manipulation. That's all.
Yeah,
it's so subtle. It's so subtle. Like I said, I love Trump, but there could be something there. Maybe it has nothing to do with the American public. Maybe it's only for negotiations and scaring the shit out of China because it makes so much money. Same thing with negotiations and tariffs. I mean, they're just trying to, I don't know. It probably has nothing to do with manipulation. It may just have everything to do with him trying to, do the tariff thing, the taxes stuff.
Well, I love it.
Yeah. I don't know. Good question, but well, we'll see what Waltz. What else he's saying here.
And their state pension has millions in Tesla holdings. So if Tesla goes down, so does everyone's retirement. Does Tim not get that? He probably doesn't. Tampon doesn't own land, a house, or stock. He does love China. Tiananmen Tampon honeymoon with the communists. Chinese EVs compete with Tesla. Maybe Kash Patel will find out if he's compromised.
How should Americans view politicians who take pride in the downfall of an American car company?
I think that's quite sad, but I think Governor Walz unfortunately is living a sad existence after his devastating defeat on November 5th.
A couple weeks ago, Democrats were blaming Trump for the stock market going down, and now they're rooting for a crash.
Tesla stock is way down, almost disastrously so. People have been vandalizing Tesla vehicles, new Tesla vehicles. Please don't vandalize. Don't ever vandalize Tesla vehicles. And so...
Yeah, now they're winking and nodding domestic.
Getting a joke out of all that.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't joke, because it's not his car. It's not his Ferrari burning. Those things are expensive,
Well, they're making a joke out of, domestic terrorism.
Yeah.
That's what they've been labeled as. And,
Yeah.
Now it's on late night talk shows, giving them a pat on the back and making a joke out of them. I haven't heard anybody make a joke about the Houthis.
Yeah.
I haven't heard Yemen or Iran. Or
Yeah. Well, and again,
be a joke.
it's kind of interesting. Let that stock fly down. Anybody that owns or understands stock market, regardless of how it's going down, they're paying attention, because why wouldn't you buy something like that? That stock is going to go nuts. I'm telling you, give it a year. As soon as people start getting paid their $5,000, if they're smart, they'll go spend it on Tesla stock. I'm telling you, it'll double, and they'll have boom. They'll have 10,000 if they put 5. They have 10. It's easy guess, man. Because like I said, he's saving astronauts. I mean, what else can this guy do?
I mean, what are they so afraid of?
Well, and again, this is right. All the thing, like his successes. Started a car company, did a credit PayPal.
Titus, the president was on yesterday. He was watching live of him saying what they're no longer going to fund. I mean, he went on for 15 minutes about naming places that you've never even heard of to do gender studies. 15 million pounds.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I saw that.
Great.
Yeah. I mean, the guy's he's like saving other astronauts now.
The guy's done nothing but good. I mean,
Yeah.
when has he done a power hungry grab? When has he done something that's gonna benefit him financially? I mean, the better and the more that you do, and the more that you love this country, that's who the Democrats go for first.
Yeah.
It goes Trump, Elon, Cash, the press secretary, which I think she's the best one since Kayleigh McEnany.
She's a pistol, man.
I mean, the girl's 27 years old. At 27 years old, I was working part-time and going to college, and I had a hard time with that. Can you imagine being the press? I mean, so I was in the Marines, younger, then maybe 20, maybe 26 is what I'm thinking of, but close enough. I mean, could you imagine? And she's got a 6-month-old baby at home. And the girl comes out there, and she is, she knows her stuff.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm saying. But one of the best I've seen.
Yeah. Well, like I said, if someone has millions of dollars in stock, which all the senators do, all the politicians do, all the governors do, it's like the only way to wealth. There's like a special handbook on how to make money in stock when it comes to politicians. Only for them, only their eyes only, top secret. This is how you do it. I mean, when people get, and I'm sure are a percentage of people that are upset about getting fired, the feds and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, as the stock is only being manipulated temporarily, So I'm just telling you, I would watch Tesla stock because people are going to overspend and it's going to even go higher. So I'm just.
Can I just say one thing real fast?
Yeah.
I just want to add this. When I think of Kash Patel, when I think of Caroline, our press secretary, when I think of our president, Donald Trump, and I know I'm missing a couple strong people, Josh Hawley from Missouri, Ron DeSantis from Florida. This keeps going to my mind. mess with the bull, you're gonna get the horns.
I mean,
That's all I'm
it's
saying.
well, and it's like, there's a new administration, man, and that's what this is all. It's been organized, and Trump is highly motivated from all the hell he was put through. So,
And I've said that before, Titus, that after the first term, what the guy went through from day one to the very last day in office, and rather than contest the election, I would have the U-Haul up front and say, you can have this job,
Yeah.
But I mean, that's how good he didn't need that. That's how great, in my opinion, of American that he actually is. But
Yeah. Well,
the better you can do for this country, the more the Democrats hate you. Was my point.
oh, absolutely. Yeah, because then it makes them look bad because why haven't they did it when they were in administration? It all came to hell in a handbag when they were in charge. So now they're not going to let someone out. And it's almost like they don't want somebody to outdo them.
Well,
And that's what's happening. They're getting outdone like horribly.
You saw that on the debate stage with during the presidential debates. Trump said, "Well, why haven't you been in office for 4 years? Why haven't you done that? Why haven't you even tried?"
Yeah.
And you know what? He's right.
Yeah. Well, let's see what they say here.
Terrorism. Don't torch a Tesla dealership. One Never Trumper said, kill Tesla, save the country. Then hackers released the names and addresses of Tesla owners across America. They said they'll take your name off the website if you give them proof you sold your car. Here's the White House.
We certainly think it's despicable, the violence that has taken place against Tesla, the company, its employees, and also just Americans who have chosen to drive an electric vehicle. Many of them are Democrats, by the way. Democrats were big supporters of Tesla and of electric vehicles until Elon Musk decided to vote for Donald Trump. So we would like Democrats to also come out and condemn this heinous violence that we have seen.
Have any Democrats come out and said, stand back and stand by? No, they're cheering it on. I thought Democrats hated political violence.
This MAGA crowd is really the most extreme political organization that's existed in American history.
They are threatening political violence, and they are attacking our democracy.
These Republicans and others are creating an environment of political violence. They are putting Americans at risk.
Democrats have never endorsed political violence, but he will go to a rally and he will endorse it. This is the equivalent of playing with a loaded gun and then it backfiring on you.
Maybe Democrats are laying low because they know who's funding the attacks.
The funding is one thing we are looking.
So what do you think about that?
You know what? I was just taking note because I didn't want to forget that. When is the last time that all these changes are happening that the Democrats have agreed with anything? They are the negative Nancy, the Debbie Downer. All they do is throw mud and fight and criticize. They're not for anything that benefits the world, the American people, the American economy, socially, with sex changes, everything. I mean, they've never supported the border. I mean, what did they just fight on everything and hate everything? It's like they have a hate club.
And I told you the theory, and like I said, I could be wrong. When Democrats are in power, everything goes to hell in a handbag.
Everything.
But it's also, if you watch the stock market, right? I keep coming back to the stock market because that's what I think is what it's all about. Because politicians are extremely wealthy because of their bank accounts and their stock markets. Democrats get in, everything goes to hell. Everything that's expensive, everything, more funding, bigger government. Of course, that's what happened to the property, right? Between that time of COVID and everything else, property went skyrocket. It tripled to doubled. That's just a fact, right? Now it's coming back to, hey, everybody's fearful of a crash. It has to crash to correct. It has to have abundance of houses. You see what I mean? There has to be abundance of houses where people start competing for business, rentals, leases, houses. They have to start fighting,
Competition is what drives the American economy. That's economics 101, and Have you ever noticed though, just like you just said, everything goes wild, and then 3 years later, 2 years later, the liberals all of a sudden have all this money. Just like
because then hey, here comes Trump. You know, they invest because they know it's coming with the way they're, because everything we know is going to rebound. At least everybody has faith that's going to rebound. Okay, so that faith alone is huge in the stock market, because stock market's about emotional buying and selling, right? Like I said, right now, because a couple of car bombs or car fires on Tesla, people are getting scared, so they sell their stock market because they knew it was going to come down. Well, they're just waiting for it to bottom out just to put it right back in. And that's literally, you can double your money. So if I had $1 million in stock, I sold right before that happened. I'm the one, and being the Democratic Party, they are saying, hey, we're the ones causing it. Let's sell our stock, totally destroy the name, and then buy it at the bottom and go back up. Guess what? They just became richer.
Sell high, buy low.
Yeah. And then you can literally have a hand in doing it. You're having a hand in it. It's the same thing with everything else that's happened. And, everybody has faith. Okay, so property is going to go bad. Stock market's going to go good. And that's how it's going to go back and forth for a while, And if you know that, it's the same repetitive. It's just repeat. Democrats drag, destroy everything. Everything goes up for taxes in government, and then all the stock, the economy's bad. And then Republicans get in, it gets really good. And then when it gets too good, and it's too good, and then it turns around again and goes. It's just back and forth. It's just, and like I said, if you really look at the history, but break it down, and maybe that's what I'll do next show, is break it down just from the Democratic Party 4 years and the Republican 4 years and how everything went. And it's almost like if you put that into AI, how they have AI or the stock buyers now that can follow the politicians. Follow the years of who's in power. Do it that way. Don't do it specifically this person. Go back and say, hey, what are they putting their money into as in the 4 year time frame? Open it up, not just 30 days. Do it like a 4 year investing. It could be a big deal.
That's, to me, sounds like the exact definition of inside trading. May not be in their name or whatever, but look how many come out far on top that have been working for government salaries all their lives. Prime example, Pelosi.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. It's interesting. Like I said, it's just the whole scenario. It gets interesting. So we'll see what they finish up here.
Among many others. I was personally in a meeting about it this morning. We are coming after you. We believe these are organized. These are not individuals out there throughout the country doing this on their own. If you are an organized group who is funding this, we're going to find you too. You better look out and you better.
No offense, but if you're paying more than $50 per month on home insurance, you're getting ripped off.
Stop it.
But Democrats aren't sending their best, mostly peaceful protesters. Daniel Clark Pounder tried to burn down a Tesla charging station, but ended up lighting himself on fire instead. This trans activist was arrested for vandalizing a Tesla service center outside of Chicago. Democrats aren't attacking defense contractors, big pharma, big food, big oil. No, they're after an EV company.
I always thought the left, Democrats were supposed to be the party of empathy, the party of caring, and yet they're burning down cars, they're firebombing dealerships, they're firing bullets into dealerships, they're just, smashing up Teslas. Tesla is a peaceful company. We've never done anything harmful. They basically want to kill me because I'm stopping their fraud. And they want to hurt Tesla because we're stopping this terrible waste and corruption in the government.
Trump's fried Democrats' brains. Now they're pro-violence, pro-fraud, anti-electric car company. They're fighting to keep migrant rapists in our country and praying for a stock market crash. But Elon and Trump probably going to come out on top with a skinnier government and a prosperous nation for all. Howard Lutnick, the United States Secretary of Commerce. So, Secretary, how are you interpreting firebombing Teslas?
I mean, this is just so outrageous. You have probably the best entrepreneur, the best technologist, the best leader of any set of companies in America working for America, and you have this sort of weird side of the Democratic Party attacking him. Let me remind you, he's the guy who saved the astronauts, and he's the guy who's going to build the next generation technology. I think if you want to learn something on this show tonight, buy Tesla. It's unbelievable that this guy's stock is this cheap. It'll never.
There it is. Right?
There it is.
That's what I'm talking about. It is so cheap right now, and there's nothing's changed in his what he does. He's one of the richest men in the world. Do you think he's going to fail? No, it's just going to piss him off. He's probably going to start giving Teslas away here pretty soon.
That's the same thing, when they were saying, Donald Trump, and, he was corrupted. The guy was worth $6-7 billion. He doesn't need that job.
It's like he's at the 400 billion now.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean,
it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So you think, the thing is, he'll probably make more money on the insurance claim, dude. Did you really think it's, you know what I mean? That they just got paid, bro. And they probably scrapped it and then took, because they're a grain company, right? They probably scrapped that, made money on that, and they probably turned in the insurance that probably paid them twice as much. Twice as much. So you didn't do anything. Like, it's a good show, but at the end of the day, they probably got paid.
But why would you, Elon Musk, President Trump falls in the same category, what I'm about to say. Why would you make these men mad? What have they done that's done anything to hurt your life, your liberties? To me, they've done nothing but protect them and benefit you financially. And these guys are at the top of their fields. I mean, sending spaceships up, building Teslas, running multi-billion and billion-dollar operations. And I mean, why would you make them mad? What have they done wrong?
Well, I will say, just add security, local law enforcement, add security 24 hours around the clock, and they'll get them. They'll get them, So hopefully we won't see this again, because if that just, it's just people being cheap on the old security side. So they just need to have, if you saw someone throwing a firebomb toward a dealership, I'm pretty sure that's a good legal reason to shoot them. Because you're throwing literally a cocktail. Was it Molotov cocktail?
Yeah.
Toward somebody, toward the dealership. I mean, you can hurt somebody. How do you know just by sheer chance there's not kids running around? Oh, they're safe because they do it at after hours, or at the end of the day, hire local security, hire local police officers, go in there and they'll take care of your problem.
When I was in, I just want to throw this in there real quick. When I was at Illinois State, there's 24,000 students there. And I was in student government, elected to student government, ran for student government. And I'm just going to say I heard student body presidents said one thing. We were in debate for probably 3 hours on the same topic. Finally, we were like, let's vote on it. And then people still want to know when your argument is your vote, yay or nay. Now, I would like to know how many of these basically criminals that are out there vandalizing and stuff like that. Yeah, they're anti-Trump, but how many of them voted? They didn't speak with their vote. And that was a poll that I had seen come out between 18 to 24-year-olds coming out to vote. It was a very, very low number. Yeah, they're going to go out there and cause chaos and everything like that. That's what I just, and it's the people that, 18 to 24, that's who you see on the news. That's who you read about. That's who you're watching when you're seeing these, lots burning, vandalism. I mean,
Chris from Facebook is act like a terrorist, get treated like a terrorist, and then whether or not they realize that they're a part of a elective identity, stop. He's just stopping in wanting to chat. So appreciate you stopping by, Chris.
Yeah, Chris, you're exactly right. If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
same with terrorism.
Okay, we can see what he's going to say here.
Never believe this shit again. When people understand the things he's building, the robots he's building, the technology he's building, people are going to be dreaming of today and Jesse Waters and thinking, gosh, I should have bought Elon Musk's stock. I mean, who wouldn't invest in Elon Musk? You got to be kidding.
All right, so you're calling the bottom. This is it.
It's whether today's the bottom or not, I tell you what, Elon Musk is probably the best person to bet on I've ever met. And I think we all know that. I mean, gosh, in the same week that he saves astronauts with his rockets that he invented, imagine that. He's building the coolest robots you've ever seen. Go online and look up Optimus. It is the coolest thing you've ever seen. We're all going to be buying robots. They're going to cost about $30,000. You're going to be buying a Tesla robot, and anybody who doesn't buy a Tesla robot is going to be silly. No one's going to be keying anything. Elon Musk is the best entrepreneur and technologist in America, and I bet on him. I wish I was allowed, but I'm not allowed to buy any stock.
I got to stop you. You're saying we're going to have $30,000 robots soon that I can buy and boss around and get them to do chores? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
When?
Go online and look up Optimus.
When do I get a robot?
I think he says at the end of 26, he's going to start making tons of robots, 27 and 28. He thinks 2028, you and I are each going to have 5 robots each.
5
and they're
each?
going to mow our lawn, and they're going to make us coffee, and they're going to make our bed, and then we're going to figure out that because they're online, they're going to fix our bathroom and renovate our bathroom. I'm telling you, we're both going to have really nice bathrooms.
All right, well, Johnny's out of a job, but my bathroom's going to be sparkling clean. God help us all. You wanted to talk about these gold cards. Now,
Yeah, the
everyone's
Trump
saying
card.
these
We're gonna
gold
call it
cards,
the Trump card.
Yeah, the Trump card. Everyone's saying this is a recipe for corruption. How do you prevent that from people, just shady guys buying their way in here and doing dirty stuff?
Okay, so you had the Biden administration let in 20 million people for free. So that's number one. Number two, we have all these programs where we give out green cards. We just give them out for free. We have a lottery, we have EB, the employment-based visas. All of this stuff is given away for free. What we're going to do is we are going to, for $5 million, we are going to get the greatest entrepreneurs in the world to come to America, to live in America, and to build in America. So they'll pay tax in America. They don't have to pay tax in the rest of the world. And they're going to come here, and this is going to be an amazing thing for America. If we sell 100,000 a year, which is what we give away, a portion, we give away about 230,000 a year. If we sell 100,000, that's $500 billion a year. It'll pay off our deficit, and it'll balance the budget of the United States of America.
And we'll have money for robots. All right, we'll see.
I like it.
We'll see.
Well, there you go.
Hey, I was just going to bring up, and I was taking notes on it. That man deserves a medal.
Yeah.
And look at the exact opposite that he's getting. The Democrats are trying to destroy him.
Mm-hmm.
And there, some of them you see out there burning are not even voting Democrats, which was a point brought up a few minutes ago. But that man deserves a medal.
Well, and what's crazy is that was the whole thing about the green going green, right? The green company going, hey, it's a fossil fuel, and it's like green, 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 green. And all of a sudden now, because he's cutting some programs.
Well, they had two, the guy put together, I mean, granted with a lot of workers, mathematicians and everything, but ultimately he's responsible for it, right? Went and picked up, how many miles away was it?
Oh, yeah. You mean in space? Yeah, it's in space. Who cares?
Right, yeah.
That's ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
10 million miles away, it doesn't matter. But the guy went and designed that. I mean, that's a winner.
Don't get me wrong. I'm sure he got paid to do it. He didn't volunteer his spacecraft or his time. I'm sure he got paid like probably $500,000 to or more to do it. You know, it probably costs that just fuel.
I don't know anything about that, but I just think that we're fortunate enough to have him to do that. And that was long before he ever took the president's offer to be on the representative for DOGE. But have you noticed though, Elon built a machine that went into outer space, and this is the reason why I asked this. But we can't build a Mazda that can go 100,000 miles without the bumper falling off.
Yeah, I know. Right.
The bumper falling off.
Yeah, to turn it into an auto mechanic, you know, 2 days later.
And they're, you know, and they're can't build it 100,000 miles so the bumper doesn't fall off on a Mazda, but we can build people like Elon can build
spacecraft, cars, yeah.
So anyway,
yeah.
I thought it was a funny analogy here.
No, it is funny. So more stuff. I had a bunch of stuff. Again, you know, they mock Tesla tax. There were just some pictures of what they're doing. You know, Tesla tax on vehicles. And if you notice, it looks like the Democratic state, Colorado, you know.
Yeah. California.
Yeah. I mean, they're just kind of in the upper states there. Seattle, Colorado. Let's see. North Charleston, you know. So, I mean, they're hitting throughout, you know, but to do all that, that has to be coordinated. You know, somebody's coordinating all that. So I'm sure they're not doing it in their backyard, you know.
Yeah, exactly right.
So, Whoopi Goldberg. This is some things. Oh, Whoopi. Let me, yeah.
I'm not feeling so well. I need to go.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's exposing a series of.
I'm sorry. What'd you say, Shane?
I'm sorry, I interrupted. I said, yeah, she did great movies, but it's just on The View. I just want to gouge your eyes out.
Yeah, and like I said, people forget, she's a paid actor.
Yeah.
No one says, hey, I really appreciate your, you know, intent, you know, your insight on anything. She's just an actor, and she's getting paid probably for the controversy. Has anybody ever asked herself? She's probably just taking, because people will watch and get pissed, but they're still watching.
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch it. I try not to click on it because I don't want to give them clicks or likes or anything like that. But I will watch when we have a decent human being, Republican. It always turns out to be that has some controversy or that disagrees with them. Even stars like Carrie Underwood.
Yeah,
she banged them out of $80 million for $100 million for Whoopi's big mouth, and then who just got $80 million out of them for?
I think it was Tesla suing or Elon's suing them for something.
Elon.
Yeah,
Elon.
but here's the thing. It sounds like a lot of money, but how much money are they making? Are they making just billions of dollars and able just to write these checks? Because they're still working. They're still working on the show.
Well, two of them cost. I don't care if you're making money or not. If you're costing me, one person's costing me $180 million. Yeah, it's time to reevaluate the.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's a good point.
I just get really excited when I'm irritated.
Yeah. Well, I just saw this clip, and it's talking about Whoopi.
Of undisclosed business dealings and financial ties that Whoopi allegedly had with media organizations intent on tarnishing his reputation. Court documents reveal that Whoopi has had secret partnerships with certain media companies.
Yeah, there you go. She's got a little.
Ironically, the same ones that have been running anti-Musk narratives for months. This revelation turned the case into something much larger than just a defamation lawsuit. It suggested that Whoopi wasn't simply voicing her personal opinions, but was, in fact, financially motivated to attack Musk on public platforms. This information significantly weakened her credibility, as she had never disclosed these ties while using her position on The View to criticize him. Elon's legal team did not stop there. They uncovered even more damning evidence. Rather than simply retaliating with a tweet, He took the matter to court, suing Whoopi for defamation. But Musk's lawsuit wasn't just about her comments on his child. He came prepared with receipts exposing a series of undisclosed business.
So, legally, these guys could do anything to you legally. They could, you could be in court forever, ever and ever and ever. And if there's even 1% chance they're going to sue you, he's literally worth what, $400 billion. So yeah, if you say something against him, what is he going to do? He's going to sue you. You know what I mean? And they're saying defamation, so that's pretty serious versus like just your opinion on something. She's saying they're profiting, so
defamation is exactly what it is. I mean, exactly what it is, and the Democrats are trying to convince you that they're right, even though they've been proven wrong, and the American people don't want them in charge anymore. Obviously, with the last election, and
yeah.
So
I put up Brinker International. I used to work for Chili's like for a long time. I don't know if we were just coming in here, but Chili's went down during just after 20. I had posted on Facebook that it was down to $8. Okay. Look what it is now. Okay. $145.
Whoa.
Yeah. Just do the calculation on 10 grand. I mean, it's a ridiculous. That's how people and senators, if you're not investing in stock, you're not investing in something, anything. I don't care. Take your pick. I don't care if you're trying to raise chickens. Get involved in investments. Okay. Cause that's the biggest thing. But just example, that had gone down. Let's see. I don't even know if it'll let me look at how long ago. Let's say 5 years. Okay. So in 20, see, it didn't even go. Just in right before 20, I got all the way down to, let's see, it'll let me do max. Oh, so I was saying in 2000, yeah, there it is right there. It was, let's see if I can zoom that in. So, oh, wow. Okay. So so right here, I had told everybody, and like I said, it's only my opinion, but that literally says $6.53. Okay, when I worked for Chili's for years, I'm talking like 5 years, it was always at $45. And this is where I'm getting the projections for Tesla. When something emotional happens in the economy or something like that, and just even if it's a year or two, people start getting scared and they start selling quick, right? They don't know what they're doing, most of them. Right? They just get scared and say, I'm going to sell all my stuff. And that's what's happening. During 2020, everybody got extremely scared. Chili's is too big. Chili's owns, Brinker International owns like 4 or 5 different restaurants, right? Like Three Forks. They own a Mexican concept. They own this. They're a management company, but they're too big to fail. Okay. And if you look at this and you say, okay, well, it went from 45, kind of like what I said, down to $6.53 was the lowest. Okay. Even after I said, hey guys, like this is a big deal. That wasn't even the right time. That I was looking at like 2008. So that's not right. So I don't know, see if I can get there. It's right at, and I know you're not a big stock guy, but the lowest on here, I had it at 8, but it was only at $8 for like a couple of hours. But even on the lowest, when you look at the chart, it doesn't even tell you how low it got. But I know it got down to 8 because I posted it. But so 8 in 2020 got down to 8. Okay. We're less than 5 years. Okay. Less than 5 years. Less than 5 years, the peak was $154. Okay. Do you think any normal person can come up with $10,000, $20,000? I mean, that's pretty reasonable, right? I mean, we can drop that on vacations. We can drop that on, so just quick calculation. Okay. So let's do $10,000. I invest $10,000 into that stock and I buy, $10,000 in stock. Let's divide that. Let's just say 10 to be, equivalent. Okay. That gets me 1,000 stocks. Okay. But now let's time that 1,000 stocks times 150. That's $150,000 that you gain in 5 years, okay, from $10,000.
Wow.
These are how they're making money on the political side. They see things coming, they make the moves, they tell their people, even if it's their cousins, brothers, cousins, to make the move, they know it's coming. You may not be able to prove it, but even I saw this. So, and I'm not an expert by any means, okay? But I saw this coming just because I pay attention. So $150,000, let's divide that by 5 years of work, like a normal person working. That's like working at a wage of $30,000 a year just by making that move financially. Right? Isn't that insane? That's crazy. I always point that out because, like I said, I think the same thing's happening with Tesla right now. Okay, emotional, something's happening. Nothing's actually changed with Tesla. It's still the number one auto sales company. I would even suggest, what if it's not the Democrats doing it? What if it's China? What if the other car companies are going, hey, let's try to do everything we can because they're killing everybody. If you look at the charts from Tesla, like you put them all together, they're not even close to Tesla, which I didn't know they sold that many cars. But their evaluation, they're just beyond everybody else. And it's an American car company. So there's a lot of car companies that would love to see them fail. So that's my little rant. My little rant on that. So here's Joe Rogan. He's talking about some things, particularly with Whoopi Goldberg.
I saw it last night. It was fantastic.
Did you watch it? Okay, because I hadn't seen it, but I try to do first reactions.
Please play that.
Yeah, I try to do the first reactions on it. So let's see what they do.
Down. He's going to find out what's going on, and that's good. That's good for everybody. That's how you should be looking at this. Like, wow, we have a brilliant mind that is examining these really corrupt and goofy systems and bringing in a bunch of psychopath wizards.
Joe Rogan is not holding back, and this time his target is Whoopi Goldberg. This whole situation started when Whoopi Goldberg accused Elon Musk of using his wealth and influence to control government policies. Now, Whoopi didn't present any evidence to support these claims. She spoke confidently, but there was no actual proof that Musk was involved in anything illegal. And just days after Whoopi's comments went viral, Elon filed a massive $900 million defamation lawsuit against her.
$900 million. Are you kidding me?
Is that what he filed against?
That's what it said. $900 million.
The last time.
So like you're just shy of a billion, right?
Yeah.
Are you telling me? But can you relevantly? I don't know. I mean, I guess he could say like, well, because you said that I lost a bunch of money. You know, I wonder how they do that calculation because that's decimation financially. Like,
oh gosh,
holy smokes, dude.
I mean, I don't know where I don't remember where I heard that or got that information. What the source was. That it was 80 million.
No, $900 million. That's insane. That's insane. Like,
yeah.
Holy smokes, man!
So
like
that, altogether, they've with Carrie Underwood's $100 grand. I mean, those she's costing $1 billion.
Do you realize that these attorneys make like 40? They make like 40% of hey, you don't have to pay me until I win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could you imagine? Like, he's like, yeah, like, hey, 400, 500 million, baby. Just because they sued, a tussle between a bunch of personalities and stuff. I'm not saying she's right or wrong or anybody's right or wrong, but just that's kind of ridiculous. Let's get into, say this guy wins $900 million. The guy's worth $400 million. So it's really nothing. It's like a ticket for this guy. But for Whoopi, I'm sure she's not that rich, bro. I'm sure she's not like, an Oprah style.
It's not Whoopi that's paying it though, Titus. It's that network.
Yeah.
And they are that rich. They can, but nobody that's corporate. That's a corporation, and anything that costs you $1 billion, because with the $100 million in the 900 million.
That's that's
you think
crazy.
You're gonna. That's a bad leak.
I
That's
mean,
a serious leak in that boat.
What do you think you could do with like $10 million? You know, like how do you like just to settle? Because you know, there's always percentages on. Hey, well, I'll sell. I don't want to pay $900 million. Like, yeah, I don't have that. Yeah, sorry about that. Can I do public apology that's worth $900 million? You know, that's insane, dude. Holy smokes, man! That's more than a lot of the pro players over a suit.
40% of that for the lawyer out of the then would be 400 million, Titus. And,
dude, like Jesus.
I mean, hey, when I get that my account, don't expect to see me in the office again.
Oh yeah, I mean, what do you imagine opening that letter? Because you know they have to notify her, or the View, or however you get it. It says, "Hey, you're being sued for $900 million."
Yeah.
What is that even? I wonder if that's even a real projection, or do they just throw numbers out there and see what sticks?
I'm telling you, but I saw this number a week and a half ago. It was 80 mil.
Yeah.
Because I remember thinking it was 180. Because Gary Underwood got him for 100 million.
Well, that's what I said. I think there are some other people winning disputes like that, but you would think you'd learn your lesson at some point. At some point, but again. How much money, and that's another thing, how much money does the View make?
I would go over with a fine-tooth comb what the statute says about defamation of character. Because obviously they're not getting it, they're not learning from it, and they don't care. You know, who's going to be next?
Yeah.
Who else do they bash on there all day long? You know?
So it says Whoopi Goldberg, who joined the View in 2007, is the highest paid co-host, making $8 million a year.
But costing them $1 billion.
And cost them $900 million.
Well, it's $1 billion with Carrie Underwood's $100 billion on top.
Well, yeah. So then, yeah. So
it's $1 billion.
Because how much you said? $8 million or $80 million?
That's what. Well, that was what I originally saw for Elon's settlement.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen the figure, the 900 million.
Well, and here's another thing. So does that mean that does that mean that, hey, I've got insurance, my insurance will pay for that? At least somebody's gonna, it's not, is it coming out of her pocket? No, or is it you just, well, we have, we've got $1 trillion of insurance in case we say something. What? Is that true?
When you sue, Titus, you go for, I was a minor paralegal in school, I did some, I know that. You go for the deep pockets.
Yeah.
Do you think Whoopi at $8 million, that's like trying to sue a homeless guy,
Well, I mean.
For the deep pockets is the network. The network can pay it, and they will pay it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they go out of business.
Well, it's only saying she's the highest. And she makes $8 million every year. So if you add that up, let's do that real quick. 8 times it says 2000. What did I say? 2007. So it's 2025. So almost, what is that? 2007 to 2025 minus. So 18 years ish.
I was just thinking. I'm sorry, I missed that mathematical figure.
Well, I'm trying to figure out how much she's made total since she started. So if you just take $8 million a year,
how long she
times it says 2007. Okay. So if you do 2007 to 2025,
that's 18 years.
So 18 years is only 144 million that she's made total, and she's getting sued for 900 million.
$1 billion altogether.
Yeah.
And that's the corporation that's she's working for. That's not her. But I would have thrown her out. I would give her parking space away, real quick, fast and big hurry. If I was,
or put her in the back of the park. Hey, you
commute to the
That's crazy.
You no longer have an office. You no longer have electricity in your office.
See, it doesn't give you the information how much the show make. It just says how much she makes.
Well, I was trying to think of Titus. what if? Now, how long would they get away with this before the Dems, the liberals, started burning up stuff in the streets? And what if there was a right wing, right wing show called the Viewees or
Yeah.
The Viewers, something to completely contradict and offset the view, and Whoopi and that Joy Behar man.
Yeah.
They've got blood coming out of their eyes.
So right now they're saying that Whoopi Goldberg's total wealth. Here, I'll transition here so you can.
And granted, she was a movie star before too. Remember that?
Yeah.
A-list actor. So a lot of that's coming from her actor.
Yeah. So it's saying Whoopi Goldberg's current total estimated wealth is $60 million. 60.
She's worth about $60 of that.
Yeah. Yeah. But I just thought it was funny. I mean, that's $60 million. And if I guess, I don't know how that works. Like, say he wins. Hey, I'll write you a check. I'll owe you. Here's my owe you to,
It's like John Candy and Uncle Buck. Do you think that this is Whoopi saying to Elon, do you think that I'll have any problem cashing a third party out of state check?
Yeah.
But it's the network, man. That's the deep pockets. That's the only one that can afford that. That's the one that's responsible ultimately because they're broadcasting it.
Yeah.
Whoopi's just saying it.
Well, see, but here's the thing. Say he wins. How do they fight who gets paid between all the people who sued her in the past? Like, who gets paid first? I mean, you have to finish this suit first. And over here, you got to get, and they keep, I mean, they're doing it legally. But who, at what point do you say, hey, well, what was that other country singer that sued her and won?
Carrie Underwood.
So it's like, does Carrie Underwood just get one big check, or hey, that's a 30-year installment, or you see what I'm saying? Like, how does
either way, what does it matter?
Dude, that's insane. That's crazy.
Either way, what does it matter?
Yeah. Oh man, she's only worth estimated $60 million. So that kind of gives you, if she's making $8 million a year and she's worked for 18 years, that her total wealth should be 144. Man, she didn't invest shit. Like, she's a horrible investor, bro.
Well,
just her total wealth just from The View should have been 144 million.
I mean, she made that probably as an actor.
Yeah. So her only wealth is 60 million, and probably some of that's her house, and but she didn't invest at least
60 million that she made from that one. Or well, I don't know.
I'm saying it's just saying her total estimated total is just 60 million. So but she had not prior from The View on, and she probably gets paid more than $8 million a year per whatever. She's been
royalties.
Yeah, royalty. They got everything, and she only is worth 60. Man, you should be ashamed. There's what are you spending your money on?
No, she's going Biden crime family SK on that. There's money hidden in assets.
Yeah.
But
they're more hidden that nobody knows about. Yeah, they're probably. But it's just, man, that's crazy.
When I see her, and then I see her bash I see her bash Trump and everything like that, Cash and all them. Like the Bible says, let him without sin cast the
first stone. Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody needs to write that on their bathroom wall or something like that.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, so we'll go back. We got off on a rant there, but like, holy smokes, dude. So she's only worth 160 million. I mean, it's not like she says, "Hey, I'll owe you." Is that with interest?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's gonna do some things.
Oh, gosh.
Well, that's gonna do some things, but maybe it'll just quit bringing certain things up or pointing fingers. I guess because I don't know.
Shut your big mouth.
Yeah, well, that too. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna literally take every wealth you have, and then some. Let's just see what old Joe has to say.
The lawsuit claimed that after Whoopi's remarks, Tesla's stock price dropped immediately. The lawsuit also stated that Whoopi's statements could potentially harm future business deals and lead to increased backlash from investors. His team demanded a full retraction and a public apology from Whoopi. They also argued that financial damages were necessary to repair the harm.
How's Elon handling this whole? He probably like, what the?
Yeah, he was definitely what the. And he was happy that the ADL of all people defended him.
When Whoopi appeared in court, things got intense fast. According to reports, she broke down in tears, admitting that she never expected her comments to lead to such serious legal action. During the hearing, Whoopi also apologized for the harm caused by her comments. She said she respected Elon Musk's success as a businessman, but stood by her concerns about corporate influence in politics. However, Elon Musk's team argued that Whoopi presented her claims as facts, which made it a case of defamation rather than free speech. Interestingly, Joe Rogan didn't hold back in his commentary about the case. On his podcast, Rogan called out Whoopi's breakdown, saying it was too little, too late. He argued that celebrities with large platforms need to be more careful about making such serious claims without proof. Rogan criticized The View for allowing that kind of conversation to happen without asking for evidence.
You're not really making the world a better place.
Right.
You're just allowing these financial institutions to enact control over corporations. And it's a really shifty, weird way they're doing it by making it seem like they're trying to make the world a better, more equal place.
You can save hundreds with Liberty.
So what are your thoughts on that?
You know, I'm just, I mean, I can't say enough or think enough of a negative impression that I have of that lady, you know, and to sit there and criticize and mock and behind every turn, you know, that's just that's her heart though, that's her soul. And that's what she's paid to do, you know.
Yeah.
They wouldn't.
That's what I said. She gets paid for the controversy. I would think that's the whole thing. The View, right?
That's the View, and I mean they're all four of those women. It's that time for and everything, and that's all they're paid to do is to. Yeah, there's nobody on there with you know with the. Let's give it a chance.
Well, and here's another thing. So they catch the vandals, right? They catch the guy, whoever's behind it, the vandals, individual. He could do the same thing. He's like, hey, I'm going to sue you for $10 million. Good luck. Like, you're never going to, you know, just be floating around. Well, you're never going to make money because they'll just garnish your check. I mean, you are done. You know, you are done. And I would think he would do it. You know, I wonder. Do you know if this was before or after the Tesla hits? Do you know just time frame? I don't know if Whoopi came after or before.
You know, it was really it was right at the. I mean, it's still going on.
Yeah.
To where they're trying to lynch those dealerships and stuff like that. But when she came out with her comments, is what glorified. I mean, it was after they started this, but I mean, she egged them on. I mean, she encouraged them practically.
Yeah, and maybe they did because maybe they're pointing the finger at her of all this that's going on right now.
Well, they should.
And hopefully it's just not an apology.
You know,
hopefully he just literally goes beyond that and says, "Hey, no, I'm going to sue you."
That apology was the most pathetic, ungenuine, lie of the year apology.
I mean, could you imagine a $900 million apology?
Yeah, no.
That ain't worth that much. Like, he's going to get her if he can.
No. I mean, because what they said, Titus, is the way that she's affected his current and future business. That's what they tell it up to be. They can't just come up with a figure up top of their head. He explained that dollar for dollar why that what they mean they would have to.
Yeah.
You know, but
yeah,
they cost him future money and stuff, and they're reimbursing his future profit.
Yeah.
You know, so
that's crazy, man. Let's see what old Joe's got to say. Oh, I'll turn off the sound here.
out that Whoopi used her platform on The View to spread false information and then acted differently when there were consequences. He pointed out that the same people who demand accountability from others prefer to cry when they're held to the same standard. He said that Whoopi should have known better, especially considering how influential her platform is. Millions of people watch The View, and allegations like the ones Whoopi made about Elon Musk can't be accepted as personal opinions. Joe Rogan also criticized Whoopi's attempt to soften her stance after Elon Musk's lawsuit was filed. He said that Whoopi's emotional response in court, including her breakdown and claims that her comments were taken out of context, didn't change the fact that she made such claims without evidence. Rogan argued that this is exactly the problem with modern media. People say whatever they want without fear of consequences. And when those consequences hit, they retreat and play the victim. Joe Rogan's opinion resonated with many of his listeners, especially those who have grown tired of Whoopi.
Everyone had something to say, but no one said, oh, well, how you doing?
Yeah.
How you doing? Because it involves so many other things, and I think that it is a matter of how we treat ourselves.
But I get people think things are funny because they don't think about the person they're making fun of. You and I are both guilty of doing that. Of course.
On his podcast, Joe Rogan argued that the media played a key role in enabling Whoopi's behavior. He pointed out that after Whoopi made her claims about Musk, many media outlets ran with the story without questioning its accuracy. Instead of fact-checking or providing balanced coverage, they enhanced Whoopi's statements, creating the impression that Musk was, in fact, involved in manipulating government activities. He said that this is the main problem with The View. Their goal is no longer to report facts. It's to push a specific opinion that fits the outlet's political or social agenda. According to Joe Rogan, this creates an environment where misinformation is not only tolerated, it's rewarded, as long as it aligns with the message the media wants to push. He even pointed out that the media's quick defense of Whoopi was a perfect example of this problem. Even after Musk filed his lawsuit and pointed out the inaccuracies in Whoopi's claims, many media outlets continued to side with Whoopi. Joe Rogan even called this reaction dishonest and dangerous. He said that if a conservative media personality had made similar accusations about a liberal figure, the response would have been very different.
This is the most important part. This is right after she was saying, we are run by ABC News. You should trust us, not Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons. So she by saying we should trust them because they're double-checked by ABC News, and then making the stupidest fucking statement.
According to Joe Rogan, the media would have immediately demanded proof. But because Whoopi's comments aligned with the media's broader narrative about billionaires and government corruption, they were treated more leniently. In Joe Rogan's view, this case isn't just about Whoopi and Musk. It's about whether media figures should be held to the same standards as anyone else when it comes to making public statements. He made it clear, if you have a platform, you have a responsibility to use it carefully, and if you spread false information, you should face the consequences.
Well, their audience is not really their audience. Their audience is a group of people they bring in to watch television shows. You know, I don't know if you've ever seen audiences before for TV shows, but a lot of them are paid. They're paid to be there.
After the backlash started building, Whoopi Goldberg tried to clean up the mess, but her explanation only made things worse. Whoopi claimed that her comment about Musk was just a joke. But the timing and context of her original statement made it hard for anyone to take that explanation seriously.
You know, when you're a certain age, you use words that you know from when you were a kid or you remember saying, and that's what I did today, and I shouldn't have. I should have thought about it a little longer before I said it, but I didn't.
Joe Rogan was quick to call out the weak excuse on his podcast. He pointed out that Whoopi's comment wasn't made in a joking tone. It was presented as a serious statement during a segment about Musk's alleged political influence. He argued that Whoopi's attempt to pass it off as a joke was just a desperate move to avoid consequences. If Whoopi really believed her comment was harmless, why did she get so emotional when the lawsuit was filed? Joe Rogan argued that her emotional reaction in court showed that she knew she crossed the line. If it was just a casual joke, there wouldn't have been such a massive response once Musk took legal action. Whoopi's co-hosts on The View tried to back her up, but their statements were just as phony. Joy Behar claimed that the comment was misinterpreted, while Sunny Hostin suggested that Musk's lawsuit was a form of intimidation against them. But Joe Rogan wasn't buying that either. He argued that Whoopi's original statement was too specific to be taken as a misunderstanding. What made things worse was that Whoopi's explanation didn't match her original tone. When she made the comment about Musk, there was no laughter. It came across as a serious statement. He pointed out that this is part of the problem with modern media. When someone makes a statement and faces backlash, they try to soften it by claiming it was a joke or taken out of context. He also brought up the fact that Whoopi has faced similar controversies before. He reminded listeners that this isn't the first time Whoopi has made questionable statements and then tried to walk them back. This pattern shows that Whoopi has been too comfortable saying whatever she wants.
Everybody makes the choice in life. If I have to be concerned that you are upset with me, you're thinking, oh, you and I have a connection. You don't realize there are 10,000 other people who are yelling the same stuff at me.
The lawsuit is still moving forward, and it's already shaping up to be a major legal battle. Musk's lawyers are reportedly gathering evidence to prove that Whoopi's comments were false and harmful. They're expected to argue that Whoopi's statements directly affected Musk's reputation and could have influenced how government officials and business leaders view him. One thing is clear: neither Musk nor Joe Rogan is backing down.
There you go.
There you go. It's how the public and investors and business owners and people that would be profitable, that's what they've calculated, that 900 million off of that she's cost in the future. I just want to say real quick, for people watching too, like I'm not over here texting, not paying attention, so I'm taking notes, just so I don't forget. I just some things I wanted to mention. That was so true when that statement was made. The left cries when they're held to the same standards. You know, literally right-wing conservatives couldn't go on a daily talk show and do what The View does without them burning down the streets and rioting and everything like that. And another point, and you touched on this, Titus, but I have a hard time believing that The View's members could actually feel the hate they spread and encourage. And like you said, Titus, they're actors.
Yeah, they're actors. That's where she comes from. That's her whole background.
That's her profession, you know, and she's real good at it, you know. And Joe Rogan, and I watched this interview last night of or his show, not interview last night, but his show came on late, but that was fantastic, spot on. I mean, Joe Rogan knocked it out of the park. He took no prisoners.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'd be pissed too if I lost tons of money, you know, off of someone. Because like I said, everybody has influence in somehow, right? I mean,
Dude, one big mouth, I won't say the name, but one big mouth, Jan.
Yeah.
The B word, I won't even say it in case there's any children watching or something like that. But
I got you.
You know, they that one lady's costing them all together, the two lawsuits all together, $1 billion. And Carrie Underwood got her $100 million off the same pretenses that Elon did, and obviously Carrie Underwood's profits and stuff like that weren't affected or as large as Elon Musk's were affected. That's why he got 900. That's why she got 100.
Yeah. Yes, she's gonna pay. That's for sure. So I'm curious how to. Hopefully, they just don't say, "Yeah, your apology's worth $10."
That was an Emmy. That was an Emmy performance right there. That was a what's the other one that it's called? Guys, the Emmys, the
Golden Globes.
The Golden Globes.
Golden Globes.
That was the all-time actor of the month right there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's just like I said. So just to recap, Whoopi's being sold for $900 million. She's only worth about $60 million. $60 million.
It's the network, though.
Yeah. I don't, like I said, I don't know how they're going to do that.
That's
She
why
only
they're-
makes $8 million a year. So
That's why they're firing her, because it's costing them the money. It's not costing them viewers. They love that.
Yeah.
They love that rating, that controversial. They're always in the news. They're always in political news. They love that. But after $1 billion, I mean, she's not able to pay that, obviously.
Yeah.
And the lawyers will go after the network to pay it. That's why the network, in turn, is firing her.
So she is being fired, though?
Yes. That's I don't know.
Maybe that's
Yeah.
because they said something about he's going to, like, buy The View. But maybe he owns The View after this.
Yeah.
After the lawsuit. I don't know. I have no idea.
He's going to own has enough to buy the network.
Yeah. Yeah.
Either way, though, the company, the network, cannot have a lady on their blabbing costing them money every time they turn around. Especially she's cost them $1 billion in the last, I think at the most 3 months.
Well, if she's smart, she'd spend that $60 million and buy Tesla stock and then wait a year and it'd turn into something.
Next is
double the money.
The next batter up for this is either the White House press secretary or Kash Patel.
Yeah.
They're the next runners up for the lawsuits. Is the way that they defamation, the way they're of character and stuff like that would be the press secretary and Kash Patel.
Well,
and old Ronnie DeSantis isn't too far behind.
Yeah. Well, hey, Shane, I appreciate you. Appreciate everybody joining us today. And like I said, we try to keep up to date on what's going on. Just trying to pay attention to stocks, investments, politicians, all the above.
Social issues.
Yeah, anything and everything kind of goes. And how can the average Joe, so to speak, make money on what's going on when everybody else seems to be, lining their pockets, but everybody else is kind of like just going about their day and working hard, but yet, not really getting ahead. So, but I appreciate you guys. And like I said, we will see you next time. I think it'd be Monday at 10, Monday through Thursday, 10 to 12.
Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. And
Yep.
when you can and showing your support and stuff like that.
Don't
It
forget-
means a lot. And hope everybody's having a good time at the same time.
Appreciate you guys. Follow us for more information. And again, we'll keep you up to date the best we can. All right. Thanks, guys.